I thought because I trained Muay Thai for 5 years that I knew how to fight. And I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym for the first time and I saw them doing forward rolls and shrimping up and down the mat. And I thought, I'm going to fuck these guys up. I then got my ass handed to me by a purple belt who was like half my size. He just did whatever he wanted to do to me. And it just shattered my illusion that I knew how to fight.
It's the Saigon Saga. Subscribe.
People think that I can't boogie choke.
So, man, how long has it been since you've been here in Vietnam?
So I lived here in the pandemic. I got flown over to be a teacher in 2020, and then everything was cool for a few months. We could train jiu-jitsu. I was training with Paul and Corey back then. And then all the gyms got closed around June 2021, so I flew back to England. So it's been like 3 years since I've been in Saigon, and I just got here on Friday, and I'm due to fly back to Thailand today. So my name is Ridley. Well, my name's James, so everyone sort of calls me Ridley. I'm from England, from a small town in the northeast called Hartlepool. I left there when I was 19. I lived in like different cities in the UK, like Manchester, Liverpool, different places in Thailand. I've lived in Bangkok, I lived in Koh Samui, and then I spent some time here in Saigon too.
The first time I met you was actually in Thailand, back in at the Phuket ADCC, and you had your own table. And you're promoting your brand. Give us a little short snippet about your brand before we get into it later on.
So my brand is called Submissionary. The whole idea was basically to sort of build a worldwide network of jiu-jitsu athletes who could sort of pull together and make a difference. So for example, we donate 10% of our profits to the street dog problem in Thailand. There's a big problem with strays. Dogs aren't cared for very well over there. They just breed and breed. There's a lot of good charities in Koh Samui. One called Pariah Dog. We actually rescued a dog from there ourselves, and then we thought, how else can we make a difference? So we start this brand, see if we can sort of get some funds across to these organizations.
Fantastic. And you guys, you sell rash guards and other kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
man. We got gis, rash guards, no-gi sets, accessories, backpacks, pretty much anything a brand will provide in the jiu-jitsu space.
So, man, can't wait. So let's talk about a little bit about how you got into jiu-jitsu and what it's done for you and how it's affected your life.
Right. Okay. So we're going to have to go like way back. So I got type 1 diabetes when I was 10 years old, Friday the 13th of September, believe it or not. Now I'm not suspicious, but yeah, Friday the 13th of September, 2002, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And for the majority of my life, I just sort of refused to accept that that was a part of me, and started drinking from a young age to sort of try and deny that that had happened. And when I got older, I lost my grandfather, got into substance abuse, and it was martial arts really. I know there's the old cliche that martial arts saved my life, but I started training Thai boxing in 2014 at a gym called Manchester Fighters Academy. I did actually try BJJ back then too, but it didn't really stick. So I did Muay Thai I've been doing it for around a year. And my boss at work, I asked for a pay rise one day, and he said, oh, you've been doing Thai boxing. Have you ever thought about going to Thailand? And I thought, being type 1 diabetic and traveling would be really complicated. So I'd never given it any serious thought. He basically offered to give me 1 month with my full salary and pay for my flights to Thailand to train Muay Thai. So I did that. Fell in love with Thailand, ended up moving there 9 months later. And during my time in Thailand, I was fighting in Bangkok, and I got a back injury, which really affected my ability to sort of kick anymore. And I thought, you know what, jiu-jitsu's on the ground. It'll probably be a lot easier on my body. And now I know that is not the case, because I've had wrist surgery, I've torn ligaments in my knees, I've got popped ankles. But yeah, completely fell in love with jiu-jitsu. Muay Thai will always be sort of my first love, but now I'm just as serious about jiu-jitsu as I was about Muay Thai.
Wow, that's incredible, man. Martial arts is what saves people's lives and really and it takes you on another direction in life for sure. And it's a few of our viewers know the story, but basically, wrestling changed my life at an early age. I was a very scared kid, didn't have any confidence in myself. And then wrestling, and it completely changed my mindset and how I view the world and how I view challenges. What are some other ways that jujitsu has impacted your life, and what are some of the and what have you done with that, like your current gym in Thailand and everything?
Yeah, so I mean, similar to your story, Zach, I mean, I was always sort of the insecure kid. I was the skinny diabetic kid. I was literally built like a skeleton, and I always had something to prove. So I was always getting into fights and altercations and going out drinking. That doesn't mix well with having a short temper like that. So I think martial arts has taught me to sort of control my emotions and have that confidence to address any normal life situations. If you can deal with the pressure of someone trying to choke you unconscious on the mats, the other problems in life sort of get the volume turned down a little bit and they don't seem as serious. So other than that, I mean, jiu-jitsu sort of given me my business Submissionary. And now, as you briefly mentioned, I've got a gym in Koh Samui. I'm running a jiu-jitsu gym, Team Sakata Thailand, on behalf of my coach, Mario Sakata. We have regular jiu-jitsu classes at a gym called Lionheart Muay Thai in the Ban Thai area of Koh Samui. It's right by the beach. It's a really beautiful spot. Would highly recommend you visit us sometime.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I've heard about Koh Samui so many times. I know a guy who has like a boat company, and I forget exactly the name of his company, but maybe you ran into him. But I'm not sure. But 100%, I will visit your gym one day. I will. What is it like for you as a coach? In how you find it rewarding?
Okay, so I was actually a school teacher for like 8 years, and I always sort of thought it was my destiny to teach and like pass on knowledge to other people. But then in recent years, I hadn't been enjoying it as much. When I used to teach in like government schools to really underprivileged kids, whether it was here in Vietnam or in Thailand, it was like really rewarding and fulfilling. As I moved into the private sector, I wasn't enjoying it as much. And I think now I seem to have sort of plugged that gap in that teaching is what I am destined to do, but it's teaching martial arts. So since I've started teaching jiu-jitsu full time, it means more to me now than it ever did. You know, I used to get excited when I had a kid who couldn't string a sentence together, and then at the end of the school year, they could have a conversation in English. I now get that when I have a brand new white belt who walks in the gym. You know, they can't hip escape, they can't bridge, they don't have control of their own motor functions. And then within a year or two, that they're going to have that control of their body, you know, physically and mentally. They're going to be much better equipped to deal with themselves on the mat. And I think those skills carry over into regular life too.
Great. And how long have you had your gym so far?
So a group of us were training together on Koh Samui at a different gym. There was like 6 of us that were blue belts. And, you know, the coaches at that gym were great, and I still have regular contact with them, but there was just something missing from, you know, I think you've got to find a gym that fits you and fits your personality and like works for your style. And that wasn't the right place for me. There was a few other big guys there, so we all sort of decided to leave and start our own thing. So we found some mat space that we could rent at a Muay Thai gym, Lionheart. Started drilling together, just watching like Craig Jones instructionals, and we focused on leg locks for like 6 months. We all wanted to get pretty proficient at leg locks. And then my coach Mario came over to promote me to purple belt. And then once I got promoted, Mario had met with Tony, the gym owner, and sort of agreed that we could be an affiliate of Mario's team, Team Sakata. And he decided to leave me in charge of that for some reason. Thank you, Mario. So now, yeah, I'm just living the dream, teaching jiu-jitsu. And it's been, since we've had the full jiu-jitsu schedule, it's been about 2 months, but it's been an ongoing thing for the past 12 months.
That's incredible. Certainly can't wait to come visit you.
You could do with the stand-up training, to be honest, bro, because my stand-up is not great.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That's pretty much the only thing I know. Yeah. So interesting that you were here back in the day. You know, as Paul describes, you saw some of the early beginnings, not the early beginnings like 2012, but some of the early beginnings of what Saigon Jiu Jitsu has become today. Back in 2020. So who were some of the big influences back then and the notable coaches who kind of drove and helped progress and grow grappling here in Saigon?
I've got to give a shout out to Corey, who now has his own gym at Over Under. As soon as I met that guy, it was really obvious that he had such an encyclopedic knowledge of jiu-jitsu. He was an amazing leg locker. I think he used to train at Henzo's in New York, right? Which, sort of speaks for itself. So Corey was definitely a big influence. And then I've got to say one of my best friends is Paul, who also coaches at Over Under. He actually came to Koh Samui to visit me with his wife last year. We didn't actually get to roll. I was still teaching full time at the school. So we didn't get to roll, but we did get to roll yesterday. So it was quite nice to, he's a black belt now. So it was quite nice to see how Paul has grown in that time as well. And it was really enjoyable. They've both had a big impact on my jiu-jitsu journey.
Absolutely. I try to learn as much as I can from Paul and Corey. Yeah, such an interesting story. I wanted to really give you a chance to share anything that you'd like to share.
Yeah, man. So I went to Manchester, pretty well-known city in the UK, for university. I got kicked out in my first year, and somehow or another, I came to living on one of my friend's floors. I would pay him like £10 a week, probably the equivalent to like $15, just to live in the corner of his bedroom. And I had no sort of direction in life, no ambitions, no goals, just drinking and partying way too much. And like we briefly touched on, martial arts was the thing that changed that. When I eventually got to move to Thailand, and got, more serious about my martial arts training and got into like Buddhism and Buddhist teachings, it was like a new lease on life for me. I managed to completely stop drinking, completely stop abusing substances. And it's really turned my life around. I think it, like I say, it is a cliche that martial arts saved my life, but without that, I honestly don't know where I'd be today. So I'm really happy that I ended up. I'm glad that I got to spend time in Saigon too. If it wasn't for the pandemic, that wouldn't have happened. Living in Vietnam, I felt like I was trying to fill a Thailand-shaped hole with Vietnam, and they're two completely different places. And although I had good friends here, there was good jiu-jitsu here. After about 6 months, the gyms all went into they got closed again because of the lockdown. So I kind of had to escape Vietnam. I was booking flights home and they kept getting cancelled. I had to book a route via Singapore. So I flew to Singapore, had like a 5-hour layover there, and we weren't allowed to leave the boarding gate. Flew to Heathrow, which is in London in the UK, and then I had to rent a car and drive 8 hours back to my hometown. So I managed to escape Vietnam. And in that time that I was home, I started talking to one of my good friends, Jess. We'd been friends like 13 years before. We used to go drinking together and stuff. And she just got this Rottweiler puppy, and I absolutely love dogs, man. So I started walking the dog with her every day, telling her about what I'd been up to for the past 10 years. And then somehow or another, we've both ended up living in Thailand together, and we're now married. So when I was in Vietnam, even though I thought I was happy, there was something missing from my life. And at the time, I thought it was Thailand. But I think looking back now, it was probably the fact that I just wasn't with Jess and wasn't married and didn't have my dogs. I'm like a family man now. I'm very different now to I was when I lived here. But I think that was like the thing that was missing. We were actually thinking about moving back to Saigon together, but Rottweilers are a banned breed and we could never abandon our dog. Yeah, they're not allowed here. Yeah, they're not allowed here. So we almost ended up here, but we got led to Koh Samui instead because of the dog.
What an incredible story. And martial arts is a part of you getting to the person that Jess fell in love with, when you were in England, and now you guys are here in Southeast Asia, and now a lot of your family and your friends are moving from England to Thailand. How does that feel?
It's incredible. So we got married on Koh Samui last April, and two of my best friend Alex and his wife Roma came to the wedding, and they loved it so much that they've ended up moving here, and they've also ended up training jiu-jitsu. So now they're two of my white belts that train with me every day. Alex was 130 kilos when he got to Koh Samui, and now he's like 102. So he shed 30 kilos since he started training jiu-jitsu with me. I mean, he's been dieting, he's been running, he's been going to the gym as well. You know, I can't take the credit for his transformation. Like, he has put the work in. He completed his first 10K run, like the Koh Samui fun run was last weekend. So he did his first 10K. And he's just entered a competition in October. He'll be doing the AFG tournament in Bangkok. So now we're getting him ready for that. And it's amazing to see how martial arts is now impacting my friends' lives and sort of helping them get healthy.
That's cool, man. Seems like you're really having a huge impact on your friends and all those around you. I've got a few questions for you.
Awesome.
And we like to do this with our guests. And you definitely have a good story, so I'm expecting some pretty good answers from you. Okay. All right, here's one. So what is a deeply held belief that you once had that you now did a complete 180 on?
So I thought because I trained Muay Thai for 5 years that I knew how to fight. And I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym for the first time and I saw them doing forward rolls and shrimping up and down the mat. And I thought, I'm going to fuck these guys up. I then got my ass handed to me by a purple belt who was like half my size. He just did whatever he wanted to do to me. And it just shattered my illusion that I knew how to fight. And I thought, I cannot go through life living like this, knowing that a man can do this to me and I don't know how to make it stop. So yeah, that was a big illusion in my mind.
Oh, wow. That's really cool too. Really cool story. Okay, here we go. What is the worst advice you have for someone starting jiu-jitsu?
Bridge and shrimp. I feel like that is the worst advice ever when you're being held down in side control and all someone is shouting at you is bridge and shrimp.
Yeah, very good. Okay, next question. Okay, here's a good one. What is one thing that most people get wrong about you?
People think that I can't boogie choke them because I'm 102 kilos. But I can, and I will.
The first thing he did was buggy choke me. And I didn't think it was gonna happen. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait. No. Do not let this guy buggy choke you if you care about your neck.
That's all I can do.
Yeah, and your spinal health. Yeah, very good. Okay. All right. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. If you could change anything about jiu-jitsu and everyone in the world had to obey it, no matter what it is, what would it be?
You are not allowed to step off the mats during a match. If you step off the mats, you have run away and you do not want to fight. Watch my last match at ADCC.
Every gym has one of these guys.
I'm resting this round. This is my rest round. Catch you next time, and then next time they're gone. They're gone. They don't roll.
I bet you get that a lot. You get that more than the rest of us. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right, here we go. You have a really cool, interesting story. If there was a book written about your life, what would be the title?
Teaching ABCs and reaping knees.
Okay. Okay, so the title is Teaching ABCs and Reaping Knees, and then there's a colon. And then what's on the other side of that colon?
Ooh, on the other side of that colon. How one diabetic bastard sought retribution through Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Very good. Awesome, man. And who would write the book?
Probably my wife, because she'd want full control over what was put out into the public about me and what wasn't allowed out into the public.
Okay, no family members are allowed to write the book. So who's the person who would write the book?
Okay. My best friend Ollie Rose would write the book. I've got to give a memorable shout out. Me and Ollie were best friends with a guy called Tom, and Tom would have definitely written a better book, but he's no longer with us, so the duty would fall to Ollie.
Okay. Great answers. Who are some of the more significant people in your life who have who've made an impact on you, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or other parts?
Okay, so my Muay Thai coach, John Chip Chase, who got me into martial arts in the first place. My mum, she's always been a big support of everything I've done. I didn't hear much from my dad growing up, so thank you, mum, for being mum and dad and making me be where I am today. My wife, Jess Ridley, who lets me leave her in Thailand alone, looking after our 3 dogs while I travel around to train jiu-jitsu. And ooh, probably, yeah, my jiu-jitsu coach, Mario, who's given me the responsibility and the trust to run the gym on his behalf in Thailand.
Really excited to hear more about your gym in Team Sakata in Koh Samui. Could you share a little bit about that?
Of course, so Team Sakata Samui is our jiu-jitsu program under head coach Mario Sakata. He's a 6th degree Brazilian black belt under Carlson Gracie. He has entrusted me to run the jiu-jitsu program in Thailand on his behalf at Lionheart Muay Thai, a really well-known Muay Thai gym on Koh Samui. We've also got a strength and conditioning facility called Fitco Thailand. We've got bungalow accommodation right on the beach in Bantai Beach. You know, it's far away from all the nightlife and the hustle and bustle of the Cheweng area. So if you really want to focus on your training, we've got absolutely everything that you'll need. We've got a healthy restaurant with all the macronutrient breakdown of all the meals on there. Weekly specials, so the menu's always changing. It's a great spot, you know, if you want to come and train and not be distracted and stay focused on your training. It's a great spot. You should definitely come check it out.
Wow, that sounds incredible. What kind of people should go and join your gym? What's the ideal type of person who would be, you know, a good fit for your gym?
You know, we're pretty inclusive. We've got a lot of female members. We've got a lot of guys. We've got people who are really new to the sport, you know, who are focusing on their fundamentals right now. And then we've got people who, you know, train their private sessions with me to focus on more advanced things like their leg locks. So we are open to everybody. But what I would say is that if you're coming to train with us, you know, it's going to be a tough room to train in. You are going to be pushed, but we will do that to ensure that you grow and you improve at jiu-jitsu. You know, where anyone is welcome, but come to us, be serious about your training, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy yourself and have a good time.
Incredible. Last question about your gym. Let's say someone is on the fence about doing jiu-jitsu. They don't really know anyone who does martial arts. They've heard of martial arts. They've heard about Muay Thai. They've heard about grappling, but they're a little scared to step foot in the gym for the first time. What's your advice to them to make that leap of faith in going in?
So I would say that, you know, the next 10 years, they're going to pass by anyway. You know, whatever you're doing, you know, whatever your job is, whatever your hobbies are, 10 years are going to pass. At the end of that 10 years, you may as well be a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. You know, the skills that it's going to equip you with, not just on the mats, but in everyday life, it's going to be a good addition to whoever you are as a person. So, you know, start Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, great answer. Great way to think about it. And also, you have an ability to pretty much go anywhere in the world and network with anyone in any city in any country that has a jiu-jitsu program. So that's one of the more special things about jiu-jitsu. Okay. Also, you also have a brand, Submissionary Jiu Jitsu, that also has, you know, a charity element to it. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Submissionary, basically, my wife and I moved to Thailand with our 55-kilogram Rottweiler, Winston. We used to take him on long walks in the UK in the park and stuff. And, you know, that's not really an option where we live now in Koh Samui. There's a big stray dog population. So when you try to walk your own dog on the beach or anything, you know, you can be approached by the street dogs. They're just trying to protect their territory. So we actually adopted a second dog called Chippy from a shelter in the south of the island called Pariah Dog, who do amazing work, you know, sterilizing, rehoming, treating the sick animals, taking them in off the streets. So we got Chippy and we thought, you know, we can't save them all ourselves. We do get tempted to. We're always taking in puppies and rehoming them ourselves, but we can't, you know, we don't have enough space to just keep taking in dogs. We did save a third one called Rocky, but we're definitely at capacity now. So we thought, how else can we make a difference how else can we help Pariah with their operation and the other charities on the island too. So we started Submissionary. We donate 10% of all of our profits from the products that we sell to help the shelters on the island. We've got your standard gis, no gi sets, accessories, backpacks. We do have a very unique product as well. I don't know if any other brands are doing this, but we're actually leveraging AI to make AI-powered rash guards. So basically, if you purchase one of these custom products from us, you're sent a form. You fill in the form with your information, so you know who you are, where you come from, your heritage, your history, your favorite moves on the mats, your style, your gym. We use that information to craft, engineer a prompt for AI that'll give us some artwork that we then sort of put some finishing touches to in Photoshop, and we create a bespoke rash guard for you. Paul was actually wearing his custom Mexican-American heritage rash guard yesterday at Over Under at the open mat.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's a pretty unique product. I'm not sure if anyone else is doing that right now, but 10% of the profits from that go to the dogs, and you also get the option to donate extra at checkout. And if you do that, the dogs get 100% of your donation.
Wow, that's incredible. I was wondering where did Paul get that? That's so unique to Paul. Like, very impressed with that bespoke artwork that Submissionary Jiu Jitsu offers. I can't wait to get my hands on my personal rash guard. Let's say I want to go to your gym. I want to buy maybe a gi or a rash guard. What's the best way to get in touch with you and your team?
Okay, so if it's to do with the brand Submissionary, you can hit up our website, submissionaryjiujitsu.com. You can also get us on Instagram at Submissionary Jiu Jitsu. If you'd like to come and train with us at the gym, you can hit up Lionheart Muay Thai, Fitco Thailand, or Sakata Samui on Instagram. They're the 3 gym pages that we have for the different programs, whichever one you may be interested in. If you'd like to speak to me directly, you can reach me at Grappling with Diabetes on Instagram.
Wow, fantastic. Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. Can't wait to go visit you in Koh Samui, and can't wait to get my hands on one of those dope rash guards.
Subscribe right now.